I'd like to give a little shout out to the 54 fours out there who are perplexed by the Enlightenment, Endarkenment aspects of that gate line. Here's where you can find gate 54 in the chart. And then here is where you would see whether or not you have line number 4. Not everyone is designed for enlightenment, or endarkenment for that matter. But if you have gate 54, line 4, you may want to pay attention. Don't take it lightly, but do take it lightly. It's a lifelong thematic, so it'll be with you for a long time. To put it as simply as possible, whenever you're giving someone advice, whenever you're teaching someone something, you are teaching yourself. Every time you help someone else, that intel is really for you. Don't assume that you have a handle or a wrap or a stranglehold on what it is that you're teaching. It's when you're teaching others, you're serving yourself by reminding yourself that these are your lessons and these are where you can grow. Perhaps not everything that you're teaching in that moment, but there certainly will be an aspect of what you're teaching or giving advice about in that moment that directly relates and pertains and applies to your life. That's a nicer way to put it. You benefit from your own teachings. For instance, as a human design guide, if I'm looking at someone's chart and discussing their attributes with them, it doesn't matter if I have the whatever it is that I'm sharing with them. Intel that I'm sharing with them will also apply to me in some fashion, however slight, but there will be a personal meaning in there for you in what you are transmitting to others. There's a nugget that leads you further towards enlightenment, if it's noticed. If it's not, then there's endarkenment, which doesn't have to mean anything too nefarious. It can just mean you sort of have the wool over your eyes, so to speak, a little bit. Like you're perhaps unconscious in certain areas that you could afford to have more consciousness around. And your teachings continually shine a light on your own stuff. And again, endarkenment may simply mean that when you're teaching or giving advice, you're either not walking your talk or you're treading close to being off trail in a less than ideal way. A major aspect of your learning and progress is tied to what you're teaching or advising about. And you should just always know that. Listen to yourself, for goodness sake. Remember that even when you think you have a particular notion on lock that you're teaching to others, or when giving them any sort of advice, not all of it, but sift through it. See what ends up on your screen. That intel is for you too. And as long as you stay cognizant of that, you're on the enlightenment side of the tracks. And when you're not, that's called endarkenment. And that may be true for others without the 54-4, by the way, but it's to a higher octave for the 54-4s. The rest is for you to discover, but I believe that this is the base frequency of that. That's the starting point, the foundation of what you build up from. This is a very vague line. There's not a lot of teaching on this particular gate and line because it really is so variable based on who you are, who you're teaching, who you're attracting into your life so that you can teach them about something that you need to be taught about. It's incumbent upon me to find that tidbit and ponder upon it because it assists with my personal evolution, my enlightenment. And when my eyes are blind to that, endarkenment, like a shroud covering my greater awareness. I used human design as an example, but there are countless examples. Just let it sink in, if it's not already down there, that you're a student of your own teachings. It's a work in progress that I continually have to remind myself about. It's not second nature until it becomes second nature, so you might need to continually remind yourself of the fact until it becomes that. I do, hence this video. Maybe you're already doing that inherently, and right on if that's the case, if that's just something you felt into on your own. But this is just a friendly reminder to keep it up. So I guess until I meet you there, I'll keep teaching about it. Please let us know in the comments. Have you been heeding your own advice? If you like this video, please like it. And if you want more, please subscribe. And here's another couple of videos I think you might dig.